Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on yet another episode of the podcast. And on today's episode, I have a phenomenal guest with me that will be taking us on the power of GPS, autosteerers, and full farm automation for smallholders farmers to ensure productivity. My guest today is Mr. Hanno Truter, all the way from South Africa. And Mr. Hanno is a seasoned sales and technical expert in precision agriculture, well, with nearly two decades of experience, driving agricultural innovation across sub-Saharan Africa and South Africa. Since 2006, he has played a pivotal role in introducing and implementing GPS guidance, auto steering system, ISBUS technology, and full farm automation solutions across diverse farming landscape. Mr. Hanno is widely recognized for his ability to bridge the gap between advanced agricultural technology and real-world needs of farmers. His passion lies in empowering farmers, contractors, agro-businesses to unlock greater productivity, precision, sustainability through smart and practical solutions. His work continues to shape the future of farming across the continent, making cutting-edge tools accessible and transformative for smallholders and large-scale producers alike. Mr. Hanno, thank you for joining us on the podcast today.
Thank you very much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Fantastic, fantastic. So as we start out the conversation today, let's just start out with the basics. So I would like you to explain what GPS Guardian is, what Autosteer and like full automation is to smallholder farmers with no prior exposure to precision agriculture.
Yeah, the best way probably to explain it is GPS guidance is like using a map on your phone when you're driving. But just in this case, it's on your tractor. It shows you exactly where you go in the field so that you don't miss any spots or go over the same area twice. Which obviously the benefits of that is no missed or double planted rows, no double application of fertilizer. It saves you time and the guesswork on what's going on your farm. It's probably the best way to explain it. It's like GPS guidance in your car. It shows you where to go. It assists you to get there quicker. Yeah, and you don't waste any time. That's probably the easiest way to explain it.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, from your experience, what would you say are like some of the common misconceptions that smallholder farmers in Africa have about precision agriculture and farm automation technologies?
Yeah, obviously, yeah. There's several misconceptions which I've encountered over the years. It's largely due to limited exposure, the cost, the upfront costs, and then the lack of education. Like I said to you early on,
Mhm.
is probably the most common misconceptions. It's only for often, yeah, it's only for big and rich farmers. Obviously, like I said, it's too expensive. You must be able, you must be computer literate, which I mean, if you
Mhm.
can work a cell phone like we all do, it's you can work this technology. Yeah, and then obviously we all know Africa, the continent is very labor intensive.
Yeah.
And yeah, everyone's afraid that's going to replace their jobs or the labor force, which obviously it does not do. Yeah.
Wow, that's really good, really, really good. So, what would you say are like the key benefits that smallholders farmers can expect when they adopt, the GPS auto steering wheel systems? Are they like sort of quick wins that they would see once they adopt these technologies?
Um, First of all, the big thing is with using Autosteer is to minimize or reduce your overlaps when you work. So when you drive in one direction in your field, you turn around and you come back. You want those adjacent swaths to be as close as possible to each other,
Mhm.
um, so that you don't double apply fertilizer, double apply seeding. Um, Then obviously the other benefit is fuel and time saving.
Mm-hmm.
On average, you're looking probably at saving 1 to 2 hours per hectare when you work, and that
Wow.
equates to about 10% in fuel saving. Obviously, by using this technology, your yields is more uniform.
Mm-hmm.
You get up to 5 to 15% increase in yield
Wow.
of your crop. Obviously, not only because of the GPS technology, but well, not only for the steering side, but also when you apply your fertilizer, which is a big part of this technology, is that you can apply your fertilizer at the right amount according to what the soil needs. So once you've done your soil analysis in your field, your fertilizer um, representative can tell you, right, this in this area of the field you need so much fertilizer, and in that area you need so much. So by applying the right amount of fertilizer where it's needed in the soil is a huge saving, and obviously gives you, like I said, uniform yields as well. Yeah. Um,
Oh,
the tractor driver they don't get that tired anymore. They're more effective in the on in working the fields.
mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, more concentrate on what's going on in the back of the tractor. Yeah.
So a huge part of the benefit is there's much more precision, there's much more accuracy, as much as there's also high yield, and also there's a bit of less laborious activities, right?
Yes,
Mm.
absolutely, absolutely.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, what would you say the role of indigenous knowledge plays in your teaching approach, and why is it important to sort of preserve it alongside modern agricultural sciences?
Um, sorry, can you just repeat that? The sound was a bit wasn't that good?
Okay, so the question is, what would you say the roles that indigenous knowledge plays in your teaching approach, right? And like, what's the importance it has to preserve it alongside modern agricultural science? Like indigenous knowledge, what's the importance of preserving that alongside modern agricultural science knowledge?
Um, yeah, obviously, myself being in the industry, like I said, since 2006, understanding your conditions, understanding the soils, understanding people's needs, listening, and then come up with a workable solution that is beneficial to everyone. Obviously, plays a key role. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. You know what? The first question you answered, you talked about cost in terms of like the misconceptions. You talked about cost as a concern for smallholder farmers. How can smallholder farmers and even cooperative sort of have practical access and afford these technologies? Are they like
Um,
or entry level solutions that you sort of recommend?
yeah. So what we uh, especially with small scale smallholder farmers, um, I would suggest, and what we have suggested before, and it actually works very well, is for a group of farmers, say 4 or 5 neighboring farmers, to get together and invest together into a, if you can start off with a simple GPS Autosteer system,
Okay.
sorry, which is, say for instance, or 10 farmers, you're looking around about 10,000 US dollars for a system. So if you're
Okay.
10 farmers, you can split it to $1,000 each to start off with.
Yeah.
And then obviously they can then book the tractor, and planter or fertilizer applicator. So when it's finished, so we all know that. So this week the one is using it, the next week the other one is using it. So that's a good point to start off with. You get sometimes what we call rent to own. There is some uh, businesses or entities that offers that where you pay a monthly installment over a
Yeah.
certain amount, say for instance over 3 years, and at the end of the 3 year period, that you are then the owner of that piece of equipment. Start small, and become a contractor. Invest in the technology and then hire out your services to your neighbors. You can charge 20 to 40 US dollars per hectare. Yeah, so that's also an option. A lot
Mm.
of NGOs and big donor companies offer subsidies through government always. Well, most of the countries, well, not most, but there's a lot of countries where governments offer um, subsidies. And unfortunately, in South Africa, we're not that lucky to have that. And yeah, and don't think that you have to buy everything new. There's a lot of second-hand refurbished units,
Okay.
even within our company. So yeah, buy a second-hand, good quality second-hand unit. It's going to last you probably for another 2 3 years. So yeah, you don't have to spend a lot of money to start off with. Start small, start cheap, and that's another nice thing about this technology is that you can what you buy today. It's you can build or add on to it. You can buy a steering system today, and then add on to variable rate fertilizer application or section control on your sprayer or variable rate seeding. So that's a nice thing about this technology also is that you can add on to it. So what you buy today is not dead capital. You the next season once you've saved, you can then just add on to it, which is the nice thing.
Okay. That's really good, really good. So can you sort of share with us, let's say like a success story where a smallholder farmer or a community were able to transform their productivity and profitability through the use of precision farming technology?
Yes. Yeah, there's actually a couple I can share, but I think probably one or two that actually stands out is in Zambia and Kenya. In Zambia, it's called the Kalolo Cooperative. Kalolo is a small village in the southern part of Zambia,
Okay.
where farmers farm maize and soya beans. And
Okay.
there was about 15 farmers there, each farm about 2 to 4 hectares big.
Yeah.
And their biggest concern, obviously, was rising input costs from fertilizer and seed, the inconsistency of their yields, which was a very big problem, and then obviously overlapping when planting just took up a lot of time. So then they formed the Kalolo Precision Farming Cooperative, and they all pulled together their resources. They started off with obviously approaching an NGO, which then introduced this type of technology, GPS technology, to them. They all attended the training. Like I said to you, also a big thing is the educational part in this industry. People is a bit apprehensive when they hear GPS, Autosteer, tractor steering by themselves, and. But once they read about it, get trained up on it, uh, you know, understand the science behind it, it actually opens up a whole new world to them. So yeah, so obviously these guys attended the training in that. They then secured a rent to own option from a financial institution,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and obviously that's where they started. So like I said, they rented well, they booked the tractor, 1 week with this farmer, another week with the other farmer. Yeah, and at the end of the season, where normally on the planting side, they overlap 12% in the field,
Really?
and after using this technology, the overlap was reduced to about 3%, obviously reduced in wastage. The planting time on average before using the technology was around about 4 days per hectare. They cut it down half to 2 days per hectare, so obviously worked much faster. The yields increased from 2.5 ton per hectare to 3.2 tons, which is about a 30% increase. Fuel usage, which is very important, came down from 18 liters per hectare to 14 liters per hectare. So you can do the maths on that, 22% saving. And then the big thing is that the profit per hectare went up from $250 to about 305, 310
Yeah,
US dollars. So it's over 50% increase in profit. So yeah, so I think that's one of the best examples that I can use. And then obviously with all the savings in season two, the next season they could add more. They actually bought a sprayer and equipped it with precision spraying technology, where they regulated their flow and switched off the nozzles, so they don't overspray and waste. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's probably one of the best examples that I can use.
that was a really good example in just showing
Mm.
that like they were able to get over 50% yield increase, and that's really
Yeah.
really good, really really good. So, what would you say is the role that precision agriculture can play in advancing sustainable farming practices, especially in the face of climate change and land degradation challenge in sub-Saharan Africa?
Okay. Obviously, um, like I said, input costs are rising every day, every month. Seed, fertilizer, um, fuel. So I think that's probably the biggest contribution, is making your inputs more efficient. Applying the right amount, like I said earlier on, is to once you do your soil analysis, and you can see what your soil needs, um, to put down the right amount of fertilizer, the right amount of seed, the right amount of chemicals, which is extremely important. And just by doing that, you reduce your soil and water pollution. You don't over apply and everything leaches back into the rivers or streams or whatever.
Yes.
Um, Water conservation.
Okay.
We a lot of like even South Africa, which is a water scarce country, we're very dependent on rainfall, and same with Nigeria as well. Um, Using technologies like land leveling, land forming, by forming your fields so that you have a constant runoff of water, but not too fast. You have water, the water has chance to penetrate into the soil. You don't have erosion,
Mm-hmm.
which is very extremely important.
Sure.
Yeah, like I said, soil health. Understand your soils, and build up your soils again. Um, we in the industry we call what we say regenerative agriculture.
Yeah.
Previously, where everyone disc and plowed and tilled the soils, disturb the soils, disturb your microorganisms.
Yeah.
Moving away from that, by using GPS technology, you can season after season after season, you can drive down the same tracks, apply the right amount of fertilizer and seeding in small bands in the field, and you don't disturb your soils in the other parts, which obviously helps a lot building up your soil health. Um, Obviously, with the climate changing, you need to do good planning ahead. There's a lot of technologies out there that you can use, maps, weather maps, so that you can plan. Okay, today the wind's going to blow, but tonight's going to be quiet. So let's work rather during the nighttime. Yeah, lowering your carbon footprint, obviously is a big thing today as well. So yeah, in if I can summarize it, I would say precision agriculture supports sustainable intensification, growing more food on the small or existing land that we have. I mean, the earth is only so big; you can't make it bigger. So you need to utilize what you've got, but you need to utilize it extensively. every centimeter, every meter that you've got. And I think that's where precision agriculture plays a major role.
Mm, that's amazing. That's amazing. Uh, so, from your own experience, how would you say that precision farming and full farm automation uh, adoption in Africa, even in diverse conditions, can sort of be used to? Okay, let me rephrase the question. How can precision farming and full farm automation be adopted in Africa's diverse farming conditions?
Um, that's a difficult one. I'm going to
Okay, so
try and
I say this to say that in Africa, the farming system is sort of there's like commercial and there's like smallholders, right?
Hmm,
And so smallholders, they usually, they have access to like fragmented small plots compared
hmm.
to like commercial farmers that have, let's say, access to thousands or hundreds of hectares, right? So in both scenarios, if you were to give like example, how will the person that has access to like few small plots leverage on full farm automation, and how would someone that has like multiple hectares also leverage on full farm automation? What
Okay,
would be
so
the
yeah, with smallholder, small farm, smallholder, small farmers. Um, Obviously, there is low cost solutions for them. You can start with a simple guidance system that gives you an indication where to drive, where you've worked in the fields, where you haven't worked in the fields. Um, like I said earlier on, also as a group of farmers or smallholder farmers can get together and share different implements, different tractors amongst themselves, instead of each and every one having their own equipment, rather share it amongst them. So I would say from 1 hectare up to about 10 hectare was normally your smaller farmers um, is to invest together into technology, share it amongst each other, and then build onto it. Um, Obviously, with going bigger to the larger scale farms, 200 hectares and bigger. Obviously, they probably have adopted most of the technology already.
Mhm.
Um, they Everything on the farm is sort of like centralized. Um, I've, you know, I don't want to say work farm from your office, but most of the technology is sort of like centralized in a call it a command center,
Okay.
where they can witness what's going on on the farm in real time, see where the
Hmm.
tractors are, um, monitor them, sending tasks from the office out to the tractor, from the tractor back and sync data back to the office, which in essence gives them the opportunity to better plan their day, better plan their seasons. So obviously your return on investment is much bigger.
Mm,
But yeah, so yeah, drive sustainability. That's probably the big thing. Yeah.
beautiful. That's amazing. Um, if you were to like give a counsel or advice to, let's say, stakeholders, which could be like the government or NGOs, um, what would you say that they could sort of do to also help um, overcome the barriers that is around the widespread of the adoption of these technologies?
Yeah, there is obviously, yeah, there's several key barriers out there. Obviously, and yeah, cost. That's probably the biggest barrier, the biggest fear. Um, so yeah, obviously, all of them. Well, most of the guys normally say it's too expensive. Um, then obviously the lack of access to credit. Obviously, it's a lot of the smaller scale farmers don't have the cash flow to start up front. Um, so that's where governments and NGOs should come to the party, and give subsidies or grants or voucher programs, so that, yeah, and then companies that supplies this type of technology should consider like rent to own, pay per use models. I think probably a very good example is the company called Hello Tractor. You probably know them.
Yes.
I think that's a perfect model that they've got. Mr. Oliver really did a very good job there, and I think that just opened up a whole bigger world to the small scale farmers. Then the other thing is also education. Like I said previously, sometimes people think, "Yo, this is like a computer. I don't have the knowledge how to work it." But especially like the product that we sell, we specifically told the software engineers is, um, literacy in Africa is a very big problem. A lot of the operators or farmers um, doesn't have very good schooling, limited schooling. So make it as easy as you can. Um, but most of them can actually use a cell phone. So if you can use a cell phone, you'll be able to use most of this technology. Yeah, so making it understandable to everyone is a very big. Well, it's very important. Like I said, a lot of people think it's technology. The technology is too advanced for them. But I mean, if you can use a cell phone, you can use this type of technology. Then the other problem is poor infrastructure. Fair enough. You can grow your crops, have very good yields, but getting it to the market, selling it, and that's due. If you've got a very poor infrastructure set up, then poor roads, poor rail infrastructure, it's not going to help you a lot. So getting access to the markets via road or rail is obviously a big hurdle for a lot of people. So yeah, governments, once again, governments, local entities, you need the assistance to get those things back in good shape. And I think there's a big drive in Africa, very big drive in Africa for infrastructure.
Yeah.
Railway lines going up left, right, and centre.
True.
Existing old railway infrastructure being upgraded, especially with the roads and that. So yeah, I think that plays a very big role. And then policies, various types of policies can also hamper advancement in precision agriculture. So yeah, get rid of red tape, make it easy and accessible for everyone. I think that's actually, yeah, also plays a very big role there.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that with us. So, for our listeners, whether they're like farmers, innovators, policymakers, what one action would you say they can take today to be part of transforming Africa's agricultural future?
Um, sure. Obviously, precision agriculture is here to stay. It's not gonna disappear. It's only gonna get better, and it's gonna
True.
be more accessible to more and more and more people. So the technology is definitely gonna become cheaper. I can vouch for that. I mean, what we paid for a system in 2006, irrespective of inflation and that definitely became cheaper. Today you've got apps on your phone that opens up a whole new world to everyone, access to markets. Like, once again, I'm going to use Hello Tractor as an example. Booking a tractor just by an app on a phone, and just the next day it's delivered to your farm with an operator, and off you go. Um, Obviously, working very closely with the weather and the climate is very important. Planning ahead, like I said, you've got weather stations everywhere. You can go onto the internet and you can see exactly what the weather is going to be wherever you are on the planet,
Mm-hmm.
which plays a very big role. And then, offering packages or bundles um, to users, farmers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Supplying the technology, giving them the credit, and then giving them the access to the markets. That's also going to be a we always say from field to fork, so it's a whole value chain.
True.
Giving access to farmers to the whole value chain. Um, so yeah, so at the end of the day, everyone's gonna become more productive, um, more climate resilient, and then the big thing is profitability, because obviously that's you don't want to be a sustainable farmer living from day to day. You wanna plant, you wanna sell, you wanna make money out of it, and yeah, better your life. I think yeah, that's where we're heading. We have to go there. We actually don't have a choice.
I like that. We have to go there. We
Yeah.
definitely have to go there. So, looking into the future, what innovations or trends in precision agriculture do you believe will shape the next decade for farmers within Africa?
Yeah. Small farmers play a very integral part. Because they are the farmers that supplies the local markets. The the guys that feed the neighbors. And um, we are also very involved in the sugarcane industry in Africa. And they got a very, very good model there. Besides your bigger entities owning the big farms and the sugar mills, they have what we call an outgrower program. So your small scale farmers can grow sugarcane and they have access to the bigger mills that produces the sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, so even a small scale farmer can supply a big sugar mill with sugarcane, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously get the benefits out of it. um, so yeah, so educating, getting the small scale farmers on board, introducing the technology to them, um, just makes them part of the bigger picture, which is very important.
That's really good. Really, really good. So this would be like my final question to you, which is for young agripreneurs, local agro businesses interested in precision agriculture, where should they start and what skills or partnerships should they sort of pursue?
Yeah, obviously, you know once again, it all comes back to education. You know, where often, yeah, like you say, you often get the answer with the question, where do I start? So, um, the we got a saying in Afrikaans, and I'm going to try and translate it into English. The more the more you measure, the more you're going to know. So, familiarize yourself with your environment, familiarize yourself with the technology, familiarize yourself with your soil. Because if and I keep on going back to the soils, but that's your base. That's where you need to start. Because if you don't have soil, you can't plant anything. So start with basic agronomy. Get someone out there. Start with a small section on your farm. Doesn't have to be the whole farm, but do your soil analysis. See what deficiencies there are in the soils. Build up your soils again, and obviously that's going to increase your yields. Um, train yourself, familiarize yourself, read up onto it, attend courses, draw up a good business plan to start off with, get the pricing, versus your input costs, and then selling your products. Then partner with farmer cooperatives, agri-tech companies, approach NGOs, go to the banks, go, you know, uh, be part of government programs. You can't just sit back and wait for stuff to come to you. You need to get up, be proactive, go out there, just be part of it. Like I said, start small. You don't have to start big. The nice thing, once again, about the technology is you can add on to it. What you spend today is not dead capital. You're gonna be using it for the next 10, 15 years. So yeah, get into it, get up, walk, head on into it. You know, precision agriculture in Africa, it's not a one size fit all.
True.
And it doesn't have to be.
Very true.
It works for small farmers, it works for big farmers. But only if it's introduced as part of the bigger ecosystem, and not just as a product. You need to see the bigger picture. Where am I heading? Where you heading to? Um, so yeah, stakeholders, they need to collaborate to ensure access to training and infrastructure. Be part of it. That's the big thing, is get up and go.
Mm, that's beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Mr. Hanno. It's been an amazing time with you today on the podcast, and I believe that our audience has learned a lot about precision agriculture and even as much as farm automation, the benefits, and why they should adopt it. So, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today and sharing with us.
Thank you very much for having me, and for be able to share some ideas. If anyone has got questions, they've got your contact details, you got my contact details. They're more than welcome to contact me. I'd love to share knowledge, and I love agriculture. I love the soil. I love the technology. So more than happy to share ideas, and let's take hands and walk the road, and feed the continent.
True, true. Thank you for the amazing work that you're
Thank you
doing.
very much.
You're welcome. And so, guys, you can connect with Mr. Hanno on LinkedIn as well. Make inquiries about his services and how best you can leverage on what precision agriculture is offering. And so, please reach out to him via LinkedIn. Hanno Truter is on LinkedIn. If you want to use his service, learn more even about the smaller versions of the machines that smallholder farmers can access. Like if you're not like a big holder farmer, you can definitely reach out to him as well. And so, for those that are viewing as well, please do subscribe and share this content so that we are able to spread this word to much more people around the continent. So, once again, Mr. Hanno, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Have a nice day.